Hey guys, Rick and Duke, welcome to another episode of HOGG Words of Wisdom. Today we'll be talking about the red dot pistol because, man, let me tell you, I've been hearing some wonky stuff out there. So let's just kind of set the things straight. I'm going to give you my opinion, but hey guys, do us a huge favor. Swing by warhog.com. Sign up for that newsletter. Just going to help us out, kind of keep you abreast as far as all things Warhog Tactical. If you're interested in becoming a part of our OTR crew, swing by ontherangepodcast.com. You can sign up for the crew membership, 14-day free trial. We got a bi-monthly Zoom call with me and Mark, behind the scenes, 100 plus training videos, gathering stuff as we go. We're going to start be doing some live stuff that's only the patrons will be able to view that. So all kinds of exciting stuff going on with On the Range podcast. Do us a huge favor, wherever you're listening to, please like, subscribe, leave us a rating review. If you're listening to the audio version, same thing. It's been a while since we've had an Apple review. All that stuff just helps us in this big tech censorship. Helps us just kind of boost the channel up some. So guys, I want to thank you for giving me your most precious commodity, your time to tune in. I greatly appreciate all your support. Don't forget, guys, last thing, the firearms training notebook. You got to have a plan for when you're out there doing both your dry fire and your live fire training. The firearms training notebook will help you achieve your shooting goals in this firearm journey that you're on. So let's jump into this thing. Let's talk about red dot sights. So here we go. Show you. Bam. Aim point acro. Pistols cleared. Everyone kind of see that. All's good. Do that. Make sure everything's all safe. Don't forget, with aim point, you can use code WARHOG25 to save you some money on all the different aim point products. Here's the thing. I've been hearing some crazy things. First thing I want to start with, using a toilet paper tube to help with your red dot. I disagree with that. I'm going to give you my philosophy on doing stuff. Hey, co-witnessing, your red dot pistol sights, dude, don't do that, right? But let's kind of jump back. We still have some people arguing whether we should put red dot pistols or we should put red dots on our pistols. Here's the thing, guys. We had this argument in the 90s talking about putting red dots in carbines. Let me ask you this. If you got a carbine, I guarantee you've got a red dot on there. So this whole argument doesn't play through. The red dot, to me, is probably one of the most beneficial tools you can put on your handgun to really diagnose your shooting, if you understand what you're looking for. So let's just kind of get into that concept here for a second. So the argument is, hey, the pistol's going to be, you're going to be slower. You're going to do this. Initially, I'm going to say, yeah, you're probably right. And then, oh, by the way, depending what platform you're running, that may cause you some dramas as well. So if you're running a Glock with the red dot pistol on there, just by Mr. Glock's grip angle design, you're going to inadvertently have to put an added wrist roll in there to bring that dot down to be able to get it on target. Now, what I typically see is when people first get the red dot, it's all about processing information. And it takes them a while because, again, we're so used to, with the iron sights, trying to align things up, get things straight in order to get accurate, effective fire. But with the red dot pistol, here's the thing. And this is why I go back to do not co-witness, right? And number one, I'll tell you straight up, we had a student that was trying to co-witness their red dot to their pistol, and they were having dramas. And it's just a carryover because there are still some carbines out there that had that fixed front sight post, and some people believe in co-witnessing. I personally don't. The dot is its own standalone aiming point. You don't need to co-witness with anything. It's its own standalone. And this is where the critical piece comes in. Something we articulate to our students at Warhog Tactical whenever we're doing our red dot pistol training, as long as that red dot is in the window. So meaning, try to get my graphic training aid here. As long as that red dot is anywhere in that window and that red dot is on the target, send the round. But people hesitate. They think that somehow this housing has something to do with the aim solution. It has nothing to do with it. From the contrary. And people will argue, well, the Acro, it's got a small window. I need this bigger window. Well, you need this bigger window, in my opinion, because you haven't quite mastered the pistol presentation. Once you master the presentation, dude, you got this thing licked. But initially, I think people are trying to get the dot settled in the perfect spot. Let me get it centered exactly where I want. Let me get it centered in the window. As long as that dot is in that acceptable target area, whatever that acceptable target area is. So initially, when we start at Warhawk Tactical, they're on 3-inch dots. Why? Because I want to try to push the marksmanship, but I'm also trying to get them to understand what's going on. The 3-inch dots will hold our accountability as far as marksmanship. So if you think about it, if I'm shooting on an IPSC A zone, dude, I got 18 inches of latitude that I can throw garbage, basically. Where I've got a 3-inch dot, I don't have that much latitude. It quickly comes apparent, hey, is your grip off? Because those shots low left, it's typically as the shooter is getting ready to press that trigger, they don't have a good grip and they're just squeezing everything in. You can see with my fingers moving, inadvertently, the fingers want to move. So what do you think the pistol's doing? It's going down, right? So again, it's not even a marksmanship issue. It's a grip issue because you're putting, well, I guess it is a marksmanship issue because you're putting input into the handgun. The key whole thing to whatever platform you're shooting, pistol, rifle, doesn't matter. Manipulate that trigger without putting input in the gun with your sights on target. Boom, it's that easy. But the red dot just becomes initially, I believe, overwhelming for some. But once you start figuring out, hey man, as soon as that dot touches a acceptable target area, it's in that window, send the round, send the round, send the round. You'll start figuring that out. So that's why I disagree with some people who say, hey, you got to co-witness. Because again, I don't want those irons to do anything there. Now you're going to go, well, Rick, why do you need irons? Well, the irons do a couple things. First and foremost, you'll see on my pistol here, I'll kind of get it close there. So I've got the excess sights on there. And the thing with the excess is you can see that big old orange dot. Now, how does the irons play into your red dot getting that presentation? All I'm looking to do for the student is have them in this ready position. And it's a matter of them being focused on the target, but they can see that red dot out of their periphery. So if I'm here, okay, if it's way down here, man, that presentation coming out is going to be horrible. The other reason, you want irons on there, God forbid anything happens to your red dot, you've got another sighting system. But really, for me, the irons come in as a diagnostic tool. So we'll have shooters out there, and sorry for the audio, guys. I'll try to explain the best I can, but the guys watching on the video eyes, you'll see this. How many times have we seen guys present out and they start doing this fishing, right? Like they're trying to find the dot. What I instruct students to do is, hey, man, you present out and the dot's not there. Look at the irons because that's going to give you some information. So typically, I know for me, my build, my stature, my composure, that typically, if my dot is not there, my front sight post is going to be at the left, meaning when I naturally present the pistol out, I basically push that muzzle to the left. So if a guy comes out versus fishing, just drive the pistol out. If it's not there, pause. Look at your irons and go, oh, yeah, that front sight post is to the left. So the fix for me is just applying that thumb pressure to the frame, not too much to drive it too much to the right, but just a little. I know for me, I have to have some thumb pressure on that frame just to drive the pistol out straight. So even if I present out, the dot's not there, use the irons as a diagnostic tool to go, hey, man, where's this dot coming in from versus this fishing movement trying to hopefully you catch it. And again, as we start building in this red dot journey, the presentation, it'll start to be there. We'll start picking up the speed and mastering the efficiency of the red dot. I don't need that dot to settle. I just need the dot to, man, it's on the acceptable target area. It's in the window, send the round, send the round. My students hear me say that over, send the round. As soon as it's there, send the round. Um, and stop putting all this mental input in there. Now, here's the thing. The red dot is a piece of life-saving equipment, in my opinion. So I put this analogy like this. If I was going to say, hey, man, we're going to go jump out of a plane. I got this $29.95 parachute made in China, or I've got this $3,000 parachute over here. Which one do you think you're going to pick? Sometimes you got to put the money forward and get quality versus breaking optics over and over and over again. And then, oh, by the way, knowing what you're having, whether you've got an open or an enclosed emitter. So basically, an open emitter means the emitter or the LED that's emitting the red or potentially green, there's green dots out there as well, that LED emitter is exposed to the elements. To me, that's a fail point, right? Why do I want a piece of life-saving equipment having a fail point built in? Where if I look at something like this Aimpoint Acro, it is an enclosed red dot, meaning the LED emitter is actually inside. It's enclosed in this housing. So that gives me protection, keeping that LED where I want and knowing that, oh, by the way, the dot's going to be there. Now, here's some other things to think about. Let's say, for example, I get a glob of mud back here. If I have an open emitter and it's kind of this L shape, man, I get that glob on there. There's nothing I can do. At least here, I can do a quick, easy thumb rub, get that garbage out of there, and I've got my optics back. If you notice, Aimpoint, we've got no solar panel on there. Don't mind my two dots. That's just my marking system for my different optics I've got to know which one's which. But I've seen the solar panels on the hollow sun enclosed crack, and then in turn, debris getting inside the enclosed. So now everything you're hoping for the enclosed emitter is gone away because we've got debris in there. We've got an intermitting dot. It looks like a snow globe. It's a train wreck. Why do we need a solar panel on there? Oh, for the battery life? Well, if it's sitting in the holster or if it's concealed, is it even getting any UV light to sit there and charge that battery? Does not compute in Rick's opinion. Shake awakes. Again, to me, it's another fail point in there. So trying to save battery life. If you're carrying the gun on your body, how much is it moving? Probably quite a bit. You don't think that thing's being shaken awake? I don't know how much movement you need in there, but hey, if I'm a patrol officer driving around, hitting bumps, doing whatever, you don't think that thing's waking up? Does that make sense? And then, oh, by the way, what if you're shake, don't awake? And then you've got no dot. Now you're going to go into that panic mode, right? How much have you trained on your irons? Getting back to all that. It's all these things to me are just fail points in a piece of life-saving kit that I want to make sure is there every single time. Now, there might be a case, and this is the beauty with the Aimpoint. It could be where, hey, I haven't done my due diligence. The atmospheres or the environmentals have changed, where now my lighting conditions aren't ideal. So maybe it's one of these where, hey, I was in a low light, so I turned the brightness down. Now I'm in a brighter spot. Maybe if I'm using a handheld, same thing, having light issues, whatever. The beauty is I can easily adjust because you can see that's my down and my up. Man, I could, even if during the presentation, I can come back. I haven't really lost anything on my grip. All I do is just take it off the frame. I can come back here and readjust my dot if need be. So I want as much functionality on there as I can. Now, I kind of mentioned the old toilet paper tube earlier. Dude, your irons are your fix for that, right? Using your irons when you present out, hey, if it's not there, you can tell. I don't need to go take this off, attach the toilet paper tube to my frame. Dude, that's just hokey stuff, right? I don't need to co-witness because now I'm trying to get that iron somehow, or if this was my front side post, somehow get it co-witnessed on there. Dude, that's going to make me slower, right? It is not efficient in there. Now, when I talk about your red dot, and this is what I use for my students as well, right? So just say the tip of the Sharpie here is the red dot. My palm is the acceptable target area. As long as it's in the window, boom, that dot touches, send it around, and you're going to see it check off. Now, this is where, if my eyes are tuned in, this dot is a fantastic diagnostic tool, but it takes time to get our eyes dialed in. There's no focal shift change. I'm staying target focused the entire time. But when that dot touches, how much is it lifting off the target? Is it lifting and being repeatable to come back to the same spot it lifted from? Am I sitting there over driving it down? Or right before I fire the round, do I see the dot go down to the white? Boom, then check off, right? The beauty is if I see the dot, let's say I've got a weak grip and the dot comes all the way to the tip of my fingers and all the way down. Probably not my average kind of dot movement. If I crank that grip down some, right, get more pressure on it, hey, it goes right about there, comes right back down, boom. It's staying in that acceptable target area. And it just let me know from the shooter standpoint, hey, man, am I applying the fundamentals on there? Do I have that good grip? Is that dot staying relatively, or is that dot not moving that much? Or if it's moving too much, did I lose the grip? What's going on? It gives you so much information. And the same thing like when you're dry firing, if you got a shoddy trigger press, you'll see that movement in that red dot. That's giving you you got all this way to process this information all via the red dot. So it takes time to get to that point, guys, right? Just don't think you're going to pick this thing up, whip it out and master it. You have to put the time in. And you'll see, like, you look at my copy of the Firearms Training Notebook, man, I got all kinds of stuff written down in those note sections, right? Did this, change that. One thing I've found for me is a simple thing, and I'll kind of do it this way. You guys see a little better. So I find if I come all the way down to the trigger guard, basically bring my finger across the trigger guard, I get a better press on that pistol or on that trigger, excuse me. That's just, kind of going from that rapid speed acceleration on there. I just find, hey, if I hit the bottom of that trigger guard, it just breaks cleaner. How did I do that? Just by trial and error, just by experimenting. Hey, how much grip pressure? You're going to have to figure that out. Hey, I don't want to grip so hard with shimmy shaking, but I don't want it so loose that now as I'm going to sit there and squeeze this trigger, I'm inadvertently putting movement into the gun just because of the way I'm putting added grip pressure in there. So just food for thought on there. Again, the red dot is a fantastic tool, but you have to put the time in and you have to start opening yourself up to accept I'm not looking for that perfection. I just need it in the window in the appropriate target area, send the round. Now, when we start doing multiple shots, you might wind up where now versus my dot just being kind of constant, it may kind of turn into this line just with the gun recoiling. As long as that, if you want to say red line, is in that acceptable target area, I don't need it to recoil up, then come down, settle it down to get that perfect dot. If I've got that red streak going on and it's in my acceptable target area, send the round, send the round, send the round, right? I'm going to get my hits somewhere in this area. But if I don't have that good grip fundamental and it's coming all the way up here, then all the way back down, man, I run the risk of not knowing kind of where those shots are going to be. So just food for thought on there. And then the beauty is that, the kind of final piece is you can call your shots. So one of the things we do at Warhog Tactical is we have students bring out old t-shirts they can shoot. They put them on the targets. How are you going to see? We're so used to trying to look at the target for our impacts. You don't need to. The dot tells you where your rounds are. Understanding if you can sit there and go, hey, man, I see it there. And move so I can see here. It's there. I see it check off. Yeah, high thoracic, high thoracic, high thoracic. Gut shot, right? Because I saw the dot come down, then lift off. But man, the ability to call your shot, because you're not going to see holes depending on what color that shirt is, nor am I looking for it, right? I'm just looking for where's that dot checking off. And it makes things that much easier. Guys, that's a quick down and dirty rundown on, as we're dubbing this episode, mastering the red dot pistol. Come to a Warhawk class, we get you more dialed in, more one-on-one instruction. But I was just hearing some stuff floating out there. People are saying some wonky things. I just wanted to give you guys Rick's kind of 2 cents, my opinion, what's worked for me, what's worked for students. Feedback I've gotten from both my civilian, especially my law enforcement guys that are putting red dots on people. It works. So quick, down and dirty. I know we got some tutorial videos out there. Our new um, Project Officer Survival Red Dot pistol course is out on Panteo Productions, which is at Make Ready TV. Go ahead, check that out. Patrons, stand by. You guys know the deal. Patrons always get some added content. We'll talk to them after it. But for the rest of you guys, make sure you guys train hard, stay safe. We'll see you on the range. Rick and Duco out.